All right, well, that's going to do it for this first segment on our show. But before we move on, again, to interviewing Michelle Edwards, we want to thank our premium sponsor, Faro Technologies. Faro is the world's most trusted source for 3D measurement and imaging solutions. Faro hopes you enjoyed learning about their new 8-arm quantum scan.
8-axis?
8-axis quantum scan arm. Ask Faro to set up a customized demo for you. You've got to give the 8-axis scanning process a try. Faro is the 3D visionary. So for more information, visit online at www.faro.com.
That's right. And as Mike mentioned a few minutes ago, we're going to bring on right now Michelle Edwards of Faro and also the Coordinate Metrology Society to further explore issues related to product development and the critical importance of the metrology function for manufacturing excellence. Michelle has extensive experience working within the aerospace, defense, automotive, and energy industries, and she's also an expert not only on all manner of metrology equipment, but in training and personnel development as well. Michelle Edwards, welcome to our show.
Thanks. Good to see you guys again.
Good to see you too, Michelle. Well, thanks for joining us. So in the prior segment, as you saw, we all saw, Raphael and Dirk did a really great job, I think, of showing off Faro's new 8-axis quantum scan arm, as we described. So maybe you can give us a little bit of perspective from your perspective, about what it takes to develop and bring equipment like this to the market. And we should note that this is only one of several new products, a raft of products that Faro announced here in the last week or two. So what goes into developing those types of products?
Well, it's interesting that you ask. A lot of effort and time and consideration goes into it, and it's been quite a busy couple of months for us here at Faro. From the 8-axis to the Prism color scanner, that one's a lot of fun, and then even just this week, the 6 probe that we've released for use with the laser tracker. What goes into this is a lot of listening, a lot of using the products with our customers, with our clients, and listening to their feedback, listening to the things that they're telling us that they would like to see different, but also identifying the things that are hindering them, that are preventing them from being as efficient as they could be, and just dreaming around those concepts of how do we remove those roadblocks? How do we help them to be more productive? We take a lot of that information back to our R&D department, and they do a fantastic job in trying to make up that gap, right? That gap from what could be to what currently is, and trying to make things better, more accurate, faster, easier, more intuitive all along the way, while not sacrificing accuracy at the same time.
And I would imagine that as part of this development process that you have key customers that maybe you work with, for like beta testing and so forth. How does that feedback feed into the development process?
The voice of customer is very important to us at Faro, and we do oftentimes have specific beta customers that we're able to go in and back to on a repeated basis to show our new products and to gain their feedback. And we've seen such a success in this that we've now implemented this as a formal process, and we have an early adopter program. One of our newest early adopter products is the Faro One-Click. And what that is a structured light scanner on a robotic arm of sorts that allows you to place a part on the device, press one button, just one. That's why we call it One-Click. It will scan over the part, and using the model-based definition from the CAD model, extract the measurements and tell you whether or not that part is good or bad. That's an early adopter product. That's something that we're launching just to a select few of our beta testers, so to speak, but we've given them a specific name, early adopters, so that they can provide us feedback on how should we change this product? How can we improve it before we go to market with it on a broader scale?
You know, Michelle, we talk a lot about bringing new people into metrology, into manufacturing, into metrology. I mean, that's something we're going to be talking about here on the show often as we go along today. So for you, what was your experience like as a woman coming into the field? What did you encounter, and what advice maybe would you give young women or girls who are in school in terms of wanting to explore these fields, STEM education? What would be some of your guidance that you might give to someone in that position?
Well, one of the first things I realized in coming into it was there weren't a lot of other women around me. Uh, this was something I was somewhat accustomed to in going through aerospace engineering as my degree. Encouraging more women in the field. We've made strides so much over the past 10 and 20 years to increase the number of women in technology fields, but there's so much further that we need to go. From when I started, although there weren't many women, it's not that it was a prohibitive environment. It wasn't something that I felt like I couldn't enter into. Some of it, though, is because just ignoring any of the boundaries, right? Why should there be boundaries? Don't let anyone put boundaries in front of you. Just continue to move forward and do what you're excited about. Um, I have a new motivation when it comes to STEM education as I have a daughter. And as she's growing up, and she's 11 now, to have her be excited about science and technology and engineering, and to hear her tell me just a month ago, I think I want to be an engineer, was fantastic.
Wow.
There's so many opportunities and so much excitement and innovation in this realm of engineering, of aerospace, of metrology, of manufacturing, that there's more than enough work and excitement to go around. I really encourage anyone, and especially young women, to get involved in this field.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was kind of be my follow-up, was this idea that, yes, we do want to encourage diversity in the field. We want to encourage women to come into the field, but really anybody out there who is in high school or at a technical school or at a university, these are really good careers. I mean, I think that we can speak to that really very clearly about the fact that the opportunities in manufacturing are really great, and that people should know that what they thought about manufacturing maybe a decade or two ago isn't really still the truth. It's a very high-tech, exciting, creative, interesting work that you do and people like you do.
Very much so. You think about, at least as I was growing up, I used to think of manufacturing as your traditional production line job,
Sure.
right? Of just one person putting in the same bolts hour after hour, day after day. And that's not the manufacturing industry that I have gotten to be a part of, particularly in metrology. To get to and working with a company like Faro, who works with automotive, works with manufacturing, works with aerospace, you get to peek into each of these industries as a metrologist. And if you find one you like, then that's the one you jump into, and that's the one you continue with. But it's not a mundane sort of atmosphere or job. Metrology, manufacturing in general, so many things to consider in this high technology environment. The speed to market of new products is so much faster. The aesthetics of a product is so much more important. Design and redesign and taking newer products to market, upgrading products, and looking for efficiencies along the way, better technology to assist you in manufacturing. It's all quite exciting and revolutionary. And to see all of the products coming to market, not just from Faro, but from other suppliers as well, is really phenomenal.
And as you're talking to people, maybe just family and friends who don't necessarily work in industry, who don't necessarily work in manufacturing, is that idea that manufacturing is still assembly work? I mean, in your perception, people you talk to, is that still what people feel? Or do you feel like people are beginning to come around a little bit and see manufacturing in maybe a different light than they used to, maybe from when you were young? Younger, sorry. You're really young now. You're younger than me. I'll keep digging a hole here. Watch. You're really young.
Keep them in line, Mike. No, I think especially as we see the next generation coming out of school, out of high school and out of college, there's more of an expectation of 3D printing now than there was before, and rapid prototyping. So I think the younger generation is really seeing manufacturing in this new light. And those who have been in manufacturing for a while are now seeing these new concepts: 3D printing, reverse engineering, scanning for inspection, non-contact, lasers, all of these things involved in improving the process. They're seeing it in more of a mainstream opportunity and seeing the benefits that it can give. Just 10, 15 years ago, oftentimes it was looked at as a job threat, right? If you bring in this high technology, maybe it means I'm going to be without a job. I don't think people see it that way anymore, as they should not, you know. They're seeing it in terms of, how can I do my job better? How can I make my products better, more reliable? How can I do this faster and easier?
You know, Michelle, you're not just a top metrologist, of course, with Faro, an engineer, but you're also a member of the executive committee of the Coordinate Metrology Society, the CMS, as we talk about a lot here on the show. So what does that organization bring to the table from your perspective in terms of education and career support for those of us who are in industry?
The knowledge and collaboration at CMS has been phenomenal, and to me, it brings that innovation, that newness, and those ideas and that voice of customer all to one location. The collaborative aspect of CMS is something that I haven't experienced in any other organization I've been a part of. The people there truly want to see improvements in manufacturing, improvements in metrology, and are willing to talk about what they've had success in and share that, rather than hold it close to the vest as some sort of advantage over someone else. It's definitely a collaborative group, and a wonderful one to be a part of.
Well, we have, I think we have a couple of questions actually we got in from the audience.
Yeah, we did.
Dirk, if you want to maybe rip through a couple of them.
Sure, yeah, we got a couple here. And by the way, while we have Michelle on the line, if you've got any questions for Michelle related to any of this, get them to us, qdl@qualitydigest.com. Okay, so question here. Does Michelle know of any particular resources for girls or young women to explore, to learn more about women in technology?
That is wonderful. I would say the Society of Women Engineers is one of my favorite organizations. I would encourage you to look at CMS and some innovations and some new programs that we're going to be rolling out and encouraging this year into our program. Those are the two that are at the top of my mind right now.
Okay, and interesting question. Do you feel you have ever been overlooked within your career because you're a woman, or is it something that your contemporaries have had to deal with?
That is an interesting question. I'm not going to say that that I haven't experienced challenges in my career, that I haven't experienced maybe some speed bumps along the way, but certainly nothing that you're not able to overcome. I would say my best advice for women in the manufacturing industry, in engineering overall, and in any career you choose, don't let someone else put a barrier in front of you. You can go as far as you want to. You have to continue to push in order to make that happen. Don't let anyone put limits on your abilities, on your dreams, or on your goals. Just continue to move forward. Anything less is a disservice not only to yourself, but to other women out there. If you stop moving forward, if you allow false limits to be put on and are accepting of that, then others are going to look up and see that same thing. So let's not put false barriers out there. Let's continue to push forward as far as we want to, as far as we dream to, and just keep moving.
Wow, inspiring words. That's great. That's great. We got a technical question here. I'm assuming you're fairly up to date on the on the 8th axis, your brand new product. I think you can answer this one. And I think Raphael may have touched on it also. He wanted to know what are the weight restrictions on the 8th axis, and also does the weight have any effect on accuracy?
Good question.
Good question. Obviously, if you exceed the weight, then it could have an effect on accuracy in terms of not being able to spin. So you might break it if you exceed it too much. But I believe the weight limit is somewhere around 200 pounds. You'd have to check the spec sheet the spec sheet to be
Yeah,
complete.
I think Raphael said 240 if I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds appropriate. So that's but there is no fall off of accuracy with weight. So if I've got something that's 230 pounds versus something that's 50 pounds, I shouldn't see any difference in accuracy because the unit itself is just supporting it and spinning. There's no bending that's going to happen or nothing like that. So you're going to see that same accuracy regardless of the weight of the product, as long as you're within the specs.
Right, and I think as long as the product is fixtured well, I think one of the things Raphael said is that even though the stage, the axis is referenced to the arm, that's the only reference that goes on. So if your part on top of on top of the stage moves, then obviously you're going to have some problems there. So everything wants to be fixtured well, I imagine.
Correct. You want the part to move with the stage and not separate from it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
Great. Well, Michelle Edwards, thanks for joining us on the show today. That was some great stuff, really great content on a variety of topics. We touched on a lot there. So thanks for joining us on Manufacturing Day. Enjoy the rest of your day, Michelle, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Dirk. Good to see you again.